Alright, folks, and now from the newly restructured channel, no longer is it Agent 42Q, but rightfully frickin' named Wednesday's Serial. Here is your host, Agent... Wait, no, I just got over that, right? Ha! It's Matt, with here to host your Wednesday's Serial, and... it's been far too long, and there's been a lot of promise, and I know what you all have been waiting for me to dig into. That's right, we're going to talk about Todd McFarlane's Spawn! Just fucking kidding. No, I am here to talk, finally, about the one, the real, the true beginning run of Deadpool. Joe Kelly, Ed McGuinness. Let's dig in. And quickly as a note, I've been citing this wrong for apparently many years. This is not indeed Volume 3 as the first two were minis. This is the true Volume 1, Number 1 beginning. And that's how it is listed in the ISBN blah 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 crap on the first page. So let's dig into the giant-sized wisecrap and ripsnorn premiere issue of Marvel's first Merc with a monthly. First collector's issue. They were ballsy, but they were right on that. The Bolivian jungle. Steamy. Rank. More humid than church pew on a Sunday. And quiet. So deathly quiet. Senor KK? What's yo? Duh, it's called narration, you ignorant simp. Translation? Sir, I hear, but I think he's talking. A literary device that allows one to establish tone, exposit information. And in a pinch, it's a lively way to distract a pack of phoebes like yourself. As a fringe benefit, it gives me something to listen to besides your blood-choked gurgling. Icky. As soon as it begins, the hunt is ended. Such is the way of the jungle. Hey, it's Deadpool. That's how we start off. Proving that the character's deadly, a little bit crazy, and more fun than your average cape. The other thing, and I want to point this out, Deadpool here and for a long time does not break the fourth wall. It is stated here very explicitly that he's yammering to himself as a way to distract the people that he's murking on. So, I don't know where that all came from, but I just wanted to point that out. And I'm going to lead into some narration, not to just summarize the book, but we need to know what we're talking about to talk about it. So, with much fanfare, Deadpool completes his mission. What he does is he steals this weapon from this crazy mech-like thing, way under Iron Man, but kind of like proto-big fat Iron Man if they're trying to develop one today. Not that weird Asian-looking thing, but think more like bulky bubblegum Crisis. So he takes the weapon, takes it to the Spanish general out in the jungle. And then the general pays him with the currency that they plan on using once they take over the country, which of course is essentially Monopoly money. So Deadpool freaks out and kills the entire rebellion as a couple of people in weird freaking goggle-like things watch ominously from the distance. Oh, don't worry. We'll be getting back to them. But then, to prove that more's going on, we return to Chicago, where there is the Hell House, which used to be Sister Margaret's School for the Wayward Children, a place where unadulterated goodness ran thick in every hallway. In the 50s, it was infested by rats, most of whom turned out were the board of directors. And the scandals that followed were of an unspeakable nature. Since then, it has been burned, condemned, demolished, rebuilt, and burned again. But the rats have remained a constant. Welcome to the Hell House. And here we meet Patch, who is like, think Puck with a big white mustache. He is just this angsty little midget guy who's awesome, who runs this mercenary business. He isn't so much a mercenary himself as the guy who you call to put someone on the job, the in-between. Kind of a way to launder it. It makes not a lot of sense, but it makes a lot more sense than contacting these guys directly out of who knows where. Like, it's a place for that to happen, and that's his job to make sure that can happen. He also, turns out he has some files and, like, cold jobs, if you will, to be filed, but he's where you go, and he also has created this, essentially, hangout, the Hell House, where a lot of the mercenaries converge. And then there you meet T-Ray, who has a thing against Deadpool, and a bunch of other various mercenaries. And you also happen to see Weasel hanging there. And they pick on the Pickin' Boy CF, who seems to be invulnerable, but gets hurt. And they just go on like that. And you see that Deadpool still has a very abusive nature to Weasel. So, this is like the first 5 pages. In 5 pages, we've established more universe than more comics bother to get to ever anymore. Just, you know. Then we flash to a bit of Deadpool's home life, where it's a bit dark, dank, and he has an old broad lying around who scares off some Girl Scouts. And then he starts ripping on her, and she slaps him and says, "If you must patronize me, you will do it using my proper name, Blind Alfred. Got it, Scab Boy?" He responds with, and this is interesting, "You've got one smart lip for a prisoner, lady. It's back to the box with you." That sentence is like a whole bunch of foreshadowing, and you wouldn't even think about it. And then she replies, "Try and see if you ever find your collection of Happy Meal toys again." So, she's got lips, she's angsty, she's living with him, and you can tell they're on a level and they're pretty friendly, but she's his prisoner. It doesn't ever quite fully make sense, but we're going to come back to the box, and that's when it's really going to make sense. That's issue 14. Yada yada, Deadpool gets hired to go take care of this weird nuclear facility up in Canada. And who else would he run into in Canada than the separated, savage Sasquatch, of which Deadpool stabs him? I just love that frame. It just shows, like, he stabbed me with what? Your toothpick? Ah, I love that. But Sasquatch shows Deadpool after he basically puts the place into a slow meltdown that if the place goes off, since it's a nuclear facility, it's going to be huge natural disaster. And so Deadpool, kind of overcome with it, dives in to the irradiated water and takes care of the situation. And in doing so, he in a way proved himself to be a hero, but not to anyone really, because they're not watching, right? Except before, there were those 2 people with the funky goggles watching him. Somehow noticing that these guys are spying on him, a few days later, the caption says, Deadpool just comes in and sticks a gun in one of them. And you find out their names are Zoe Calden, who's the chick with the hair, and then there is Noah, who is the Black Man accomplice, and they work for Landu, Lockman, and Lake, who were minorly priorly established in the Marvel Universe, but really this is where they count. And Deadpool refers to them as an intergalactic piggy bank, and Zoe says they're way beyond that, and that they want to put him on for a contract to fulfill his destiny as a guardian of humanity. Deadpool's like, hero, me, nah. And just leaves. The last quote he says here is, hero, you guys are on crack. And then Zoe says, like, he's still on the job, and Noah brings up, like, I think the Psy, meaning, you know, the psychic, was wrong. That guy's a loser. There's no way he's gonna do it. So he's like, I have a feeling, and that's our first issue. Boom. Now, some things may not seem like a big deal, because we're used to draw plot lines or things not amounting to being as big as they're initially thought out to be, because whatever. But here, trust me, the relationship with Al is going to play up to a different way. The Sasquatch thing, Sasquatch isn't a reoccurring character at all, but the events here you're going to see very quickly kind of move us along. But the LL&L thing is huge, and the fact that Deadpool doesn't think of himself as a hero is the crux of everything. And that's the thing. This isn't a superhero book. To call this an anti-hero book doesn't even really work either. A book of redemption makes a lot more sense, except that we don't have the normal sense of, like, I need to prove myself or whatever. Deadpool thinks he's as much a loser, more so than pretty much anyone else. It's everyone else saying, there's something going on here and you need to step up. And what's weird is people find the good in Deadpool in a weird way, because he's really not a good guy. But by comparison to the people he's going to be dealing with, he is. And that's a lot of the reason why it's so interesting. So let's get to actually showing some of that. So issue 2, Cutting Class at Ninja High. At least that's the cover. Starts with our hero camped right outside a girl's room watching her sleep. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. You know, camping outside someone's window just to watch them sleep used to be considered romantic, but today it's called stalking, and generally considered trespassé. And while Deadpool's busy stalking Siren while she's sleeping outside her window, some ninjas come in and kidnap the one person Deadpool truly cares about. His arms dealer, Weasel. Blah, 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 blah. And what's really awesome is when there's a mouth cuffing him, the first thing he says is, "Huh? Deadpool?" Meaning, if he's being kidnapped, he assumes it's his friend. I thought that was a good little right there. Then we cut to Blind Al. Really, Wade, from mercenary to peeping Tom in one night, I'm almost ashamed to call myself your prisoner. That's just, And they have this weird little gag with Deadpool trying to switch up the sugar and the salt on her, which is messing with the blind lady. Classy. Then we find that Weasel has activated his own GPS, and it's on his computer, and Deadpool can find where he went by looking at it. So it's the first introduction of Weasel PS. Weasel Positioning System. There you go. And then we find out that Deadpool has been snuck away by a bunch of ninjas. And who's training these ninjas? None other but the one true superhero teacher, supervillain teacher, I guess, Taskmaster, who then promptly whoops Deadpool's ass and then throws him in chains. Then he has a little chat with Weasel, and Taskmaster's offered him a pretty sweet gig. But then Deadpool won't accept it, really, and gets into a fight with Tasky over little old Weasel. And the way Taskmaster is able to beat him before, if you're familiar with the character at all, is he was able to copy Deadpool's moves, because that's what Taskmaster does. He sees something, then he's instantly able to do it. So he's watched Hawkeye, Captain America, and he has all these moves at his disposal. Ooh, frickin' who. Deadpool, this time, realizes, in a way, the best way to beat Taskmaster is to just go completely nutsoid on him and not be readable. And Taskmaster is trying to watch him going like, I can't remember his movements, I can't. That's because Deadpool's like, I don't even know what I'm doing, and just kicking his ass. I'm the ultimate wild card, I'm crazy. And that's the thing, is like, he's actually a little bit crazy, so it actually works. Then Weasel and Deadpool almost share a moment, so then, sentimental scene alert, launch preemptive wedgie. Doink! The end. And that's our issue 2. But in the fight between Taskmaster and Deadpool, Taskmaster gets off a finger. And as we go into issue 3, you see it didn't quite heal, which is kind of Deadpool's thing, which is a bit of a problem. So here's our issue 3 cover. Ooh, lovey-dovey. As a matter of fact, love is all around. Woo! Guest starring Siren. But, as I said, we start off in the Hell House with all the mercs around betting on when Deadpool will grow back his finger. But only one jerk bets that Deadpool won't be able to grow it back. And that, of course, is T-Ray. He's a weird-looking albino-y guy with a Fabio haircut and a Band-Aid on his nose. Yeah. And so T-Ray wins. Deadpool can't grow it back. But then a courier comes in and delivers a package from Black Tom Cassidy, that is Deadpool's glove. And so Deadpool gets super anxious and starts cursing. And he doesn't want to go alone, so who is he going to call but Siren to go help deal with her evil cousin. Woohoo. And Deadpool comes in pretending to offer a pizza and being really nice, and they get into a weird little fight because she's saying she has any responsibilities to take care of because she's team leader, blah blah blah. You know, women, right? So they go along and they get to where they're supposed to meet Black Tom Cassidy. And they get in there, and it is none other than Dr. Kilbrew sitting there with a mug of coffee. How nefarious. Of course, initially reaching the area, Deadpool's in, here's Uncle Tom's cabin. Ah! Yeah, that was a long setup for a Uncle Tom's cabin joke, but there you go. But then Kilbrew was saying how at the end of the second mini, you'll remember, he was supposed to help Deadpool with something, but he didn't. And he brings it up, and Siren kind of questions him on it. And then they bring up the workshop. And Deadpool goes mad. The workshop. Just murderous intent. Then he talks about, like, just all these painful things, like, I can't make it through the night without jumping on my bed and a cold sweat drenching my body, the antiseptic stench of the workshop in my nose, the noise of that machine grinding in my ears. to bite the inside of my mouth to make sure I'm in the present, not back there. Do you remember what you did to my teeth? Like, just like, okay. And then he goes into a nutcase thing about to just murder Killbrew, and Siren, like, pulls him back enough to just, you know, not have him kill Killbrew. But, then Killbrew drops the bombshell on him. Because Deadpool brings up the fact that, yeah, you know, his finger hadn't grown back, you know, he needs to have a fix, and Killbrew says, it's not just your healing factor, Wilson, it's everything. Your body's devouring itself from the inside out. To put it bluntly, you're dying. And that's where we close. And that's where we're going to close tonight. I promise another video soon. Really, this time. And we're going to take it from there. But that is our initial launch into Deadpool. That's the first 3 issues. And we've seen some different beats. We have a whole lot set up to come. And things get pretty hectic pretty fast. So, there you go.